So let's talk about the Matrix. I've been seeing it online on YouTube mostly, where people are like, break free of the Matrix. Uh, the Matrix is what you create. How are you breaking free of what you create? It makes no sense to me. So I wanted to talk about it today because let's see, what is the truth of the Matrix? Is it harmful to us? Um, is it something that we can coexist within? And how do we change it? How do we adjust it or break free of it? So, the Matrix is the world that has been, it's a program, right? Like it's a program that consists of numbers. It's like a code, like a computer code. And yes, I agree with all of those things. The Matrix is the computer program that we live within. However, you're not going to break free of the program that you live within because it's the program that you like live by. Like it's your brain. So your matrix, each person has their own matrix. So this is also known as like timelines or frequencies. And so let's zoom out a little bit. The matrix is code, ones and zeros. But it's not just like 101010. It's all a pattern, and that pattern is what creates the frequency of existence within that matrix. Hopefully that makes sense. So, as the human, we are, like we've talked about before, creating that electromagnetic currency, frequency from the heart chakra, and that's based in our perceptions, our emotions, and our action steps, right? So we have all three to create the life that we have within our current matrix. So when you can, and I started seeing like the code like in everyday life about 3 years ago of the number code of like ones and zeros. And then it kind of dissolved away from me because I had a lot of change. I moved across the country, all like I had a lot of stress. I was out of whack a little bit for my energy. And so now that I've been in alignment and all these things, the matrix stuff is coming back to me, but it's very different. So it's not so much about breaking free of the matrix, of your own self. You don't need to break free from yourself. You are exactly how you're supposed to be at this point within this frequency on this time level that you exist at this time. And to timeline jump, you have to change your entire frequency. And you do that through emotion, the mental, and the action steps, the physical. And the only way to do that is through those things. You have to have anchors in all of those things that allow you to frequency upgrade. And when you do that, you will notice that you are on like a different timeline, which is like called, most people call it like a quantum leap. But it's not actually a quantum leap. It's that you are becoming that frequency. So instead of like existing at the old frequency, you just basically up leveled, is you increased your frequency. So now you're residing at a higher frequency and you can see all the other frequencies, so you embody all of the frequencies below you. So the matrix, to break free of the matrix, is more like embodying the code that you want to become. So if your code is representative of fear and victim mentality or perception or lack mentality, or always being like afraid to be your full self and to feel like that full acceptance and wholeness of being within your full self, then you are being controlled by the matrix because you're not being authentic. Anyone that is not in their authentic self, just like Neo in the movie The Matrix, initially he was not being his authentic self. So yeah, the Matrix did control him because he made his choices and his lifestyle and all of these perceptions based upon what was outside of himself, right? So when you make choices that are based on what's outside of you, you are not being your authentic leader. You are not in your power and you are not leading your life. You're people pleasing. You're basically doing like the puppet of whoever the masters are of you. And in that case, you probably would want to break free of the matrix, but the only way out of that is to go into the self. And when you go into the self, you become the matrix. You create it. You are the creator. You become the code. Every decision you make becomes the code. It becomes the wavelength that you ride upon on this lifetime, right? So to become the code and break free of your matrix, but you'll still be in another matrix. So you're not really breaking free. You're just creating a different type of matrix because humans won't exist in the third dimension unless there is a matrix. You can't have the third dimension without the matrix, right? So to when you up level, you're still going to be in the matrix, but it puts you like Neo at the end where he's the one. He's the one because he steps into his authority. Of course he's the one. He becomes the creator. He becomes the matrix. He absorbs it and he is it. He embodies it. You see at the end when he's like walking down the street and like people are just moving out of the way. That's because he is the matrix. He is the code. There's nothing like, there is no breaking free. It's either you go inward and you become your creation, the matrix, your environment, your life, you become the creator of it, or you allow yourself to be a pawn in someone else's game. So it's a choice. And that's what the whole movie of The Matrix is about. It is one of my absolute favorite movies. It's probably my second favorite movie after Fight Club, because I always have that Jekyll and Hyde inside of me. But The Matrix is like, it for the time period that it came out, it was just like mind blowing. And I remember being in high school and being like, just whoa, right? And now finally, many years later, I understand it. I fully can understand it because I am the creator of my own matrix. I am the one who's making the code. And now, as the creator, I don't see the ones and zeros anymore like a code that's like a language. Because the code, the program is just a language and it's done in numbers and patterns and systems. And so when you become the creator, it becomes more like you're the conductor of an orchestra. You are the one who's creating the music. You are the one who's creating the frequency, and all things align to you because you are the conductor. And no one else can change that, prevent that, or make that choice for you. Every single day, every single thing you think about, every single thing you consume, and you have to be conscious of what you're consuming. You have to be aware. You have to actually like have a structure, have a plan, and say, these are the steps for me to get to this goal. It's almost like I always do my goals backwards. So I start with the end goal and then I structure my life based on what steps are necessary in order to reach that goal. And I've always been very successful achieving my goals that way. So in order to become the matrix and to like fully embody it instead of like being within it, is you set the goal of what you want. So whatever you want your life to look like, or more like not what your life to look like, whatever you want to feel like as a person. Do you want to feel powerful? Do you want to feel authentic? Do you want to feel free? Do you want to feel loved and accepted by people? Do you want to feel like you're rooted, like you have a foundation, that anything could happen to you outside of you and you could still persevere and be successful in it? Because no matter what comes your way, there is no obstacles anymore. because you are the creator of your life. When you create your life, why would you make yourself problems? That doesn't make sense. So there stops being problems. You don't have to deal or worry with all these outside things because it really just doesn't fucking matter, okay? So the truth is that when you create your world, yeah, there might be someone out here that does this. Who gives a fuck? Nobody fucking cares. Let them. Fuck it. When you are the creator of your world, all you care about is creating these decisions. Like, does your mindset line up with this goal? Do your action steps align to who you want to be? If not, then you're not creating your world. You're either passive and you're letting other people control it, which then you feel chaos, you feel fear, you feel lack of confidence, you feel alone, you feel disconnected, you feel all these negative things because you're in that frequency. You're in the lower frequencies. And it's not going to get better until you choose to make it better. There's no one going to come and save you. When you get on a higher frequency, like a lot of people will say, oh, you're so lucky. Like, bitch, no, I'm not lucky. I made this life for myself. I made these choices every single day. Every single breath that I take, I'm thinking about what's my next step? How do I achieve this? How do I push myself forward? What's the next thing that I need to surrender and let go of? What am I holding on to that's stopping me from reaching my next version of self? I'm not lucky. I'm creating my world, and it takes hard work and dedication. And anyone that tells you that it's easy to create your own world is a liar, like point blank, because it's not easy to be in alignment with the mind, the mental programming, to know how to program your subconscious mind on your own. It's super fucking hard. To know how to release emotions that are embedded into your energetic program system, super hard. And to know what action steps that align with the mind and the emotion is then even harder. So when people are like, oh, you can just simply do this and your life will be better, that's a fucking lie. Like, point blank. Don't let people fool you into thinking that achieving your highest version of self is something that you're just gonna trip and fall into and it's like a lucky pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's not. It's more like you have to battle the leprechauns that are protecting the gold within the rainbow, because within is where all the gold lies. There is no gold outside of you. There's nothing, literally, because your subconscious mind, which is programming the matrix, is what creates your outside reality. When your outside reality is shit, it's because your subconscious mind is shit. Okay? It's just what it is. You can accept it, you can feel guilty about it, but you don't need to. You can just say, okay, I don't like what I see out here, I'm going to change. And then you change. There is no feeling of judgment. There is no feeling of guilt. There is no feeling of remorse or I should have did this. I should have been more. I could have been more. I could have achieved more. I should have made this decision. I should have done this. Fuck all that. Let it go. You are not living in the past, and the past is not you. It does not define you. A decision or a thought that you had 20 minutes ago is no longer existing. I mean, to be real honest, we don't really necessarily exist anyway, do we? We're a matrix of the mind, of a conscious frequency. So in reality, in the truth of quantum physics and all that is, when you pull out really far away from the self, the individual, you see that everything is like a flow, right? Like an ebb and flow. We've talked about this before, where if I breathe in, the universe breathes in. When I breathe out, the universe breathes out. And that's because we're one single entity. We're one single energetic consciousness. And the consciousness is what is alive. The consciousness is the matrix. But it comes from the program. And this is where we could talk about like a collective consciousness also. So the collective consciousness is equal to you, however it is the larger version. So let's say you're at a really high frequency at like 800 or something, and that's what you typically like project out, right? Your electromagnetic frequency is like 800, but all those people around you, they would also be in that 800 because that's what you're attracting. So the collective consciousness more so tells you what the majority of people feel about themselves. How do people actually think about themselves and their worth and their value? And as we can see just by looking at society, people think they're fucking shit because the collective is like gone to shit. And it's getting harsher and harsher, more violent, more stressful, more anxiousness. And it's because people don't feel good about themselves. People don't love themselves. You see all this stuff online about like these people who have these wonderful, beautiful lives. If that were true, the overall collective consciousness would radiate. It would be happier. It would be more accepting. There wouldn't be so much separation of like us versus them. It would be wholesome, and it would foster abundance and togetherness and community, which our current society at large, the globe, the earth at large does not. And so it also, then that projects out to the Milky Way, in the Milky Way galaxy, to the other planets. We are alone because we feel that we are alone. We don't have that love. We don't have that acceptance. And that's something that we all need to work on. If we want to break free of the matrix, all you have to do is work on yourself. And if you in particular would like to break free of your matrix and your programming and your emotional roots, and that you embody on an everyday basis within your daily choices that you don't even know you're doing, I would love to work with you. I would love to help you to transform radically. I do offer a quantum soul activation transformation mentorship. It is long term, it's 21 weeks. We go through the whole system. We work on the emotional roots, we release them, we heal them. We let go of the past. We work on the mindset where we program a new way of being so that you can upgrade your matrix. And then we also work on those physical actions, the lifestyle, the choices in everyday life that are necessary in order to complete the triangle that creates the matter of the world.